my question is regarding consciousness.
Regarding?
Yeah, so from the consciousness.
Oh, consciousness, yes.
Yes, please. So, like from the study I've done so far, I understand that there are levels of consciousness.
Yes.
Like everything is conscious, just depending on the level and degree.
Correct.
And then, which also ties in according to your level of vibration, you belong to a certain level of dimension. So I just quite didn't understand on lower life forms. What I mean lower life forms, like for example, we have pets like dogs,
yes,
cats, and those just lower, which they say they are in the second dimension or second density.
Okay.
So is there a point where they raise their vibration to certain level that they come to third dimension or become human in their evolution?
Okay.
That's my question.
Okay, got your question. All right, so the question, just to paraphrase and clarify, is about consciousness, the level of consciousness, and then how it relates to, as you mentioned, animals. So the most powerful organ or body part you have is your mind, or your brain, shall I say, right? And as we teach in Wu-Sabat, your physical body has counterparts, and your physical body is an interface. You interface with outside of the body and different levels of vibrations outside of the physical realm and the material plane. So your mind acts as that interface between the higher levels. So your mind is where you receive your thoughts, and it's likened to the central processing unit of a computer. It's called central or center because that's the middle or the center where you're able to receive and transmit, okay? When we say you have a radio in your head, so your brain using electrical signals, because when you look and study your brain, it's about sending signals, like when you look at a computer circuit board, right? The buses are used to send, let's say, electrical signals, but you know, in the computer sense, it's zeros and one. And it's the same when you're now accessing the higher realms, you have to have your mind. And when we go from the bottom upwards, we will say, you know, you have the physical plane or the material plane, then you go on, like, it depends on what scale you're using, but we would say you go on to the plane of force, you know, the spiritual plane, the soul plane, and then the mental plane. All right? That's the middle where, if you looked at having 9, so you communicate above to beings that are higher than the 4. And these are ethereal planes as well. So you are connected all the way, but only certain beings are connected all the way to the 9, because ether is in everything, but the 9 ether is like the highest level of vibration, if you may use that. So when we're saying conscious, you have to remember that a computer was modeled off of the way you work as a human. So your central processing unit being your brain, and then you have memory, and you have different types of memory, just like the computer has, you know, hard drive, which you store information on, and you can lose or delete things from there. But you also have other memory referred to as ROM and RAM. ROM is the read-only memory, so you only have that as well, where you have memories that have been stored within your being, within your cells, and then you have what we call the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, right? And all those relate to how you access this information. And information is stored in energy, if you want to use that term, right? So, you know, crystals can store energy. We've got hard drive, but when you look at the hard drive, you have a disk, and within the disk is where these numbers, zeros and ones, are stored in terms of the data. So yeah, when you're saying higher consciousness, it's like animals, they can only vibrate onto the spirit level and and beings that are mixed with animals can only go up to the 6th ether level, right? So this is why when we say spirit, everything has a spirit, everything vibrates to the spiritual level or spiritual realm. And this is why you can have disembodied beings that still roaming the planet. So when you're saying consciousness, you have information that you are aware of, you have information that is hidden, as in your subconscious, and you have information that is super conscious, right? So you all have to do some research and study. This is what Wu-Sabat encourages everyone to do. So depending on you can raise your vibration, you can raise your intellect by exercising your brain, because most people don't use a lot of their brain capacity or power, and the scientists will tell you most use less than 10%, right? So you have 90% to still access. And this is where the notion of DNA comes in, because you store information in your DNA. They're now making computers out of DNA. You store information in your melanin, you store information in your cells. And so the more you are aware of this information that is hidden in the sub, as I said, sub is underneath, and I used the example before of a submarine, submental or subconscious. So it's there, but you're not aware of it because it's like it's hidden. And then you have subliminal. Subliminal messages is where I can put a message in front of you, but it's hidden, it's underneath, and you don't realize it, but it will have an effect on you. And that message can come in the form of light, it can come in the form of pictures, sound. And so marketing experts, people who know how to send and use messages that will affect you on a subconscious level, will use that. This is why with Wu-Sabat, it's all about information, studying, learning, dissecting, breaking it down, so that you are now using your own mind. Because if someone can control your mind without you knowing it, then they're affecting you. Because remember, I said that you make decisions based on your thoughts. And so if someone says, go and eat this, and you don't realize that, you get that message and you act on it. And so some beings that know this information, that are more intelligent, will utilize that to their advantage. So the first thing is for you to really be aware. That's why we put out the information on the fallacies and, you know, the lies and the things that are programming you, right? Programming you to do and act and behave and do things without really knowing why or, you know, the reason for doing it. Hence, religion is a tool, because you're given instructions and told to do this and do that. Yeah, I hope that's answered your question, because we covered the different conscious levels, and the more intelligent you are, the more you raise your vibration, the more you can tap into the higher realms, and you can only go as far as you are able to, because not everybody is able to access the higher realms.